Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. And the other day, we had a look at all of the booster boxes from year one of the Sword and Shield Pokemon TCG. That is, starting off with the Sword and Shield base set, and going all the way through to Fusion Strike, which is the one that's just released. And we talked about how much they should cost, so you can see which ones are nice and cheap and worth picking up now, and which ones are jumping in price. And so if you're really after them, you might want to go sooner rather than later. And as soon as I made that video, I had a bunch of people going, Wossy. What about Elite Trainer boxes, man? You talk about them? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I absolutely can. So starting off with Sword and Shield, and I made this point before, right? Firstly, there are two different Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes. Generally speaking, the Zacian one seems to be a bit more popular because, well, Zacian is the more popular Pokemon, if I'm honest with you. But it's also really super annoyingly awkward because it's really hard to find Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes because when you search for them, you just get all the Elite Trainer boxes. Now, the good news is we do have we still have a little bit of a look, all right? Over in the US, these are generally selling, I mean, we look at sold listings, they're selling for somewhere in the region of around about $60. That's about right. There's one here that sold for 60 and there's one here that sold for 125, but the pair of them were there. And like I say, the Zacian one nominally seems to be a slightly higher, but it's not exactly a huge thing like that. Incidentally, we had to use sold listings there because honestly, it was really awkward actually trying to find these because they had a bit of a reprint recently in the US, which has made them a bit easier to get hold of, and the prices were all over the place. But about $60 is about right, which of course is, you know, 40 is retail, that's not too bad. Over in the UK, these are harder to find. It's a bit more awkward, but there's one being listed here for 85 quid, which honestly seems about right, which is rubbish, honestly. But they're old at this point. And they're not that old, but they're old enough. Unfortunately, they are old enough at this stage. They're 2 years old. We haven't had a reprint in Japan. There was, the most recent sold over in the UK. There was one that sold for 50 quid, which is lovely. But there was also a pair that were sold for 155 between them. So about 80 quid for each. And you'll notice that the one that sold for 50 was buy it now, which means that essentially somebody put them up far cheaper than they should have done. And that's on them, basically. It sold very quickly because they sold it far cheaper than they should have done. But hey, somebody got a bargain. And frankly, if you put it up for 50 quid, you're happy to accept 50 quid for it, so yay! But they're selling for somewhere in the region of about 80 quid over here and $60 in the US. They are cheaper in the US, but like I've said, they have had, over in the US, more recently, a reprint of these, which does have to explain the price difference. Now, looking over in Rebel Clash, it's honestly not that bad. And we talked about this with booster boxes the other day. I am convinced, when you look at the price of singles and things like that, Rebel Clash is not going to go down as such an unwanted set. But not everyone loves it. Right now, in the UK, you're paying about 70 quid for an Elite Trainer box. Not perfect, but about 70 quid is about right. We see free here for 65, 70, and 80, so you can average them out to somewhere in the region of 70. It's not the most sought after set, although if you look at the price of singles, I think it maybe should be higher up there than it is. But yeah, it's almost 2 years old at this stage, and it's going to cost you a few quid if you want one of these. Over in the US, for a Rebel Clash Elite Trainer box, you're looking, well, it's a little bit weird, right? But the two buy it now are $80 and $92. So I think about $80-ish is probably where we're looking. There's one ending in a couple of days, which is up to $60. You can imagine that'll probably end around about 80 like the others. So not terrible. I mean, you're talking double retail, right? Double retail is not ideal, But Elite Trainer boxes, unlike booster boxes, they tend to disappear a little bit more quickly. They tend to be printed and then go away, whereas booster boxes keep coming back. It means if you leave it, they basically are guaranteed to rise in price over time. Now, weirdly, I could not find a Darkness Ablaze Elite Trainer box for sale on eBay in the UK. It's just not out there, which is extremely weird. But the last one that sold for 70 quid, which, interestingly enough, is, around what we're paying for Rebel Clash. None of these have gotten silly at this stage. You're all paying somewhere in the region of double retail, but then you should be paying about double retail because these are quite old at this stage. But over in the US, Darkness Ablaze is where things start to get a little bit silly, because you'll notice that the two top listings over in the US are for $140. Well, that's 3.5 times retail. And it's not that bad in the UK, although again, there are none that are actually for sale in the UK at the moment, so take it with a little pinch of salt. But the most recent one sold was for about 70 quid. And the last couple before that were maybe a little bit more than that, but not hideously so. This is the first one, especially in the US, where the price does start jumping quite a bit. Now, Vivid Voltage, I told you the other day, was the set that really was pushing it in terms of booster boxes, largely because of the Pikachu, your Rainbow Rare Pikachu, the one that everybody's after. The Elite Trainer boxes, they're not that bad. Top two for sale at the moment over on eBay in the UK, 68 quid. Again, they're retailing 42.50 in the UK, so, you're still a little way away from retail here. But considering that it's quite a sought-after set, this is really not too bad at all. This is not a ridiculous price yet. Over in the US, I'm talking a similar kind of thing. You're talking somewhere in the region of about $75. It always amuses me. There's one for sale, buy it now for $75, and there's one that's being bid up to $81. Why did the person who bid $81 not just buy the one for $75? Maybe there's shipping issues or something along those lines. But again, we're not talking about a ridiculous price here. More than normal? Yes, absolutely. Hideous? Nah. Not that bad, ladies and gentlemen. Not that bad. Now, these are the ones that you're pretty much not going to be buying in shops at this stage. If you try and buy one from a shop, all you're getting is proper full-on scalper prices, and I'm just not taking them seriously. We're not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about shops that are selling these 2 or 3 times retail. But Battle Styles is the first time, in terms of the Sword and Shield Elite Trainer boxes, where you can legitimately just go and buy them in stores. Because on UK eBay, the top 2 ones there are 40 quid and 36 with free postage. Well, they're retailing for 42.50. And I can go and buy one right now for 36 quid, free postage, which is below retail. And we've talked about Battle Styles a lot before. Essentially, what happened with Battle Styles, this was a set where people have been scalping for a little while. So Pokemon went, right, well, we need to up our production. And they did. They upped their production. And they kept upping. And they kept upping. And then we got to Battle Styles. And they printed enough that it basically drove the scalpers away. Battle Styles as a set is basically unscalpable. Although it is worth noting this was another one where there were 2 different Elite Trainer boxes, one for Single Strike and one for Rapid Strike Urshifu. But over in the US, you can pick them up for $28. $28 is absurd! They retail for $40 and you can buy them for $28. I should mention, don't pay attention to the shipping on the US listings we're seeing here. Obviously, I'm based in the UK, so when I'm searching, it's trying to ship them to the UK. Nah. Alright? Just to be clear, nah. And that is extremely cheap, ladies and gentlemen. Battle Styles is a kind of set, you can buy these in shops pretty easily. You can go into a shop and buy a Battle Styles Elite Trainer box. They are in stock in a whole bunch of places over in the UK. As an example, Zartu Games have just got them in stock for $35.49. And this is an actual shop, not somebody, just buying and selling on eBay. and they are selling a fair bit below retail. And that's the deal all over. Although when you buy from places like that, do please bear in mind that you are not able to choose which one you get. So, bear that in mind. And then we keep going up through the more recent ones. So after Battle Stars, we ended up at Chilling Reign. And that's again one which is below retail. Over in the UK, I can buy this right now for $36 with free postage, or $41. Worth noting again, as you can see in the top image there were two different ones for Chilling Reign. You had one for Ice Rider Calyrex and one for Shadow Rider Calyrex. So if you really want to go and pick, do bear that in mind. But these are readily available below retail. It's like if you get into year 2 of the Sword and Shield TCG, a switch is flipped. Year 1, you're paying above retail. Get into year 2, all of a sudden, way below retail. I'll say way below retail, maybe that's not strictly true, but over in the US, you can pick these up for $40 pretty easily. $40 buy it now? That's not bad. Admittedly, that is retail, that's not below retail. This is one of the few times where, UK and etc. can be picking up below retail, and US, not so much. But then again, your retail is quite a bit cheaper than our retail, so I don't feel bad about that. And again, these should be a little bit cheaper. These are your more recent Elite Trainer boxes. So, it's like everything. It gets printed, it goes out of stock, the price rises. Well, the more recent it is, the less it's gone out of stock, so the less the price is going to rise. Evolving Skies, we're seeing a similar kind of thing. It's not a particularly old set, so the price isn't going crazy. Once again, worth pointing out here that these are available in 2 different designs. Do please bear that in mind. But this can be picked up for basically retail or thereabout. There's, $43.50 with free postage. Okay, that is £1 above retail, but I'm sure we'll cope, ladies and gentlemen. I am sure we'll cope. And to be fair, Evolving Skies is a rockin' set. I could buy so many booster boxes of Evolving Skies and then complain about my pulls, because that's what we do. Over in the US, it's a similar kind of thing. These are pretty readily available for $40. There's a listing here for $40 that, now it is a random one, which is important to note, but still doesn't make a huge difference. I can't be the only one that doesn't really care. If you really care, then you might have to pay a little bit more to guarantee you get the one you want. But this is readily available. This person's clearly got piles of them that they're selling for $40 each, which is retail, which is a very good thing. And then the final one we get here is Fusion Strike. This is, of course, the most recent set that actually came around. This is one that you should be able to find in stores pretty easily. Weirdly, once again, I am not seeing any listings on eBay UK. I don't know whether eBay just hates me at the moment and is just not working properly, but I'm not seeing any listings here. But if we go and look at the most recent sold items, you can see that these are selling for around about retail. The retail's $42.50 and the last 3 sold were $44, $42 and $39. So all very much hovering at retail or thereabouts, which you would expect. Over in the US, it's actually a slightly better thing. Over in the US, things are looking a little bit nicer. These are actually being readily sold below retail. The top 2 listings are $34 and $35, with retail being $42.50. That's a nice little saving. And essentially what we've got here is a really nice little pattern. Older Elite Trainer boxes, we're talking year 1, from, Sword and Shield through to Vivid Voltage, you'll generally be paying above retail. At the moment, it's about double, but it varies a little bit by set and it does fluctuate. More recent sets, year 2, you can pick these up below retail. Battle Styles remains the one that just nobody is into. Nobody wants the Battle Styles one, which is a little bit sad. But even, your Chilling Reign, your Evolving Skies, they're not the most recent set, and they're very good sought after sets, but actually they're not that expensive. And Fusion Strike being the most recent one, you should never be paying, unless it's really like hyper short printed, you should never be really paying above retail for the recent ones. That's just really not the way it works. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're after an Elite Trainer box, you just want to open one up, might I suggest Battle Styles? Certainly the most recent ones are good, but Battle Styles is kind of the king of cheap Elite Trainer boxes at this stage. But then, if you go more recent, there are a bunch, and if you go a bit older, it gets a little bit awkward. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are your Elite Trainer boxes. That's what you need. So now it's over to you guys. Which of these have you picked up? Which of these are you planning to pick up? Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.